The topic today is giving back, corporate social responsibility, or mentoring. So I have a question. The first one being, in the room, past awardees, and women in business, how many of you actually consider yourselves corporate? Right, so can I drop the corporate word and we just use the word social responsibility? Alright. I think as entrepreneurs we don't really see ourselves as corporate. We tend to, our businesses grow and expand through the years, and we get to a point where we possibly are operating from a corporate level and then bringing in social responsibility into our company as a backbone and really the essence of who we can be to give back. But I'm going to drop the word corporate for now. So let me ask the question. Can we change the world? Can companies change the world? Yes. Should we change the world? Yes. Right. So I have a panel of ladies. I'm sure you know them all. I'm going to introduce them briefly. Tijen Ivar from the US State Department Bureau of African Affairs. Manavira Hakim Ali, right? Yes, from Bangladesh. We've got Nuria from Spain. Everybody knows Nuria from 2008. Pastor Wadi. We have Urka from Mongolia, last year's awardee. Mary from the United States, last year's awardee. And we have Michelle Karvar, who was on the panel of last year's steering committee in Cape Town and the awards in South Africa. All right, so what is corporate social responsibility? Anybody like to give me or social responsibility? Yes.
Corporate social responsibility is the ability of any corporation to give back to the community, to help the community grow, and in return they are helping others.
100%. 100%. Proponents argue that there are a few arguments for corporate social responsibility. One being that companies can gain and benefit long-term profits through social responsibility. Others argue that we're detracting from the nature of business, which is to make money. And then we have a third argument, which is that social responsibility is actually window dressing. Well, I have a panel sitting over here that proves that the IWEC organization and the people involved are not window dressing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you, each of the panelists, 5 minutes. And what they're going to do is they're going to tell us how they are giving back, why they are giving back, and how they've chosen to give back, and what it means for their business and their employees or the community that they're actually supporting. So we'll start with Nuria.
Thank you, Annie. First of all, thanks for inviting me to participate in this panel, and especially I would like to congratulate the organizers for choosing this topic, because I think it's really, really important. Well, I will use this time just to share with you some of my thoughts, reflections, and my experience in mentoring, giving back, and social responsibility. I say always the opposite, corporate social responsibility. So, I would say first that for me, the first, in a personal level, it's a first level, how we can give back to the society. I'm sorry. I think the first way of giving back to the society is that we, as a professional, we work as a professional, ethical and honesty, and we create our companies, we innovate our products, our procedures, and I think this is the first way of giving back to the society, to act as an ethical and honest professionals. It's important also that we are always aware that how we can contribute to the society, as you were mentioned before. I think mentoring is a good idea and a good program. I have been involved in mentoring, and what I can say is that it's so enriching for you to help young women to develop the new career, to steer their careers or to develop new projects, new businesses. So it's a very, I think, as I was saying, very interesting and enriching for both parties, not only for the mentee, but it's a lot for the mentor. I have learned a lot doing mentoring. And what is important is that it's a relationship, at least for me, that never finishes. you start with the program, but I must be honest, I can manage to finish it, and I am pleased because I continue to establish this relationship forever with the mentees. And I must tell you also that it's quite nice and produce many satisfaction to see how these young girls that you have started, how they grow up professionally and personally over time. So I think maybe we can talk later much more about mentoring. For me, another way of giving back is to participate and cooperate with government bodies, as could be Chamber of Commerce, working groups of professional associations, and any place where our contributions, our experience could contribute to achieve improvements for a sector, for a collective of people, whatever it is. I think it's one good way to participate. I have also one personal experience that I am contribution. I am chair of the Conseil Social, to translate like the Board of Trustees of a public university in Barcelona. I don't know how many of you, but I have studied in a public university in my country. Most of the persons of my generation in my country have studied in a public university. What really means this? That means that my studies, in most part of them, have been financed by everyone in Spain. So I think it's a good way to give back to the society what I have received before. From this Board of Trustees, what we are doing, just an example, we supervise the use of public resources from the university. We foster relationship between university and society and so on. But what is important is that at the same time that you are giving back to the society, you are contributing back for a better training for the future generation. I think this is an example of doing. And just to finish a little, I try also to do a lot from the company. I try to motivate, for instance, my teams, that they accept students in our company. You know, it's not easy in the department when you get people, students there. But I think it's a good way to cooperate, because I would like so much, when I was a student, to have this opportunity to know how business is developed in reality once you are outside of your university. In the same way, the integration of people with physical or mental disabilities. I think it's good, and it's honestly so nice to see how a person, when arrives in the company, and how, if you can find the right job in the company for this person, it's fantastic to see how this person improves professionally and also as a person. So these are some of examples. The same also for cooperation with NGOs. It's good to cooperate for any NGO, but I prefer always, and I stimulate to cooperate with NGOs that are very close to our facilities, in order to get better publicity, to see really how the projects develop. And so on. I may say some others, but I don't want to take more time. I prefer that we use the time for discussions and comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much. I know Manuela does a lot of social responsibility, so lovely to hear from you, Manuela.
Thank you.
5 minutes.
Hi everyone. It's my great privilege to express the duties of corporate houses in Bangladesh. And my company, my corporate house, my business is really dedicated for many years, since our business is a family business. My father, my in-laws all had contributions for the country and many institutions. So that is their headache, but I started myself, which I'm very proud here to express, which has been initiated by me, absolutely by me, without any help of my family. So it was my great challenge to work and help my society, my area, our next generation, the children of our country, all of our country. So, you know, it was really my headache to how to help them. So when I started, actually my target was to establish my business to help the people, because our family had enough money for us, for everything. We enjoyed everything in life. So that was not enough. That was not the satisfaction or recognition. I felt if I can help people, I'm more popular, more useful, my business is more useful and more active if I can help out of my business. So being a very leading businesswoman and being a social worker and being a contribution is more two different status. So I became more popular when I started helping the people of my country.
And is that in a monetary fashion or in actual time and energy?
Time, energy, and also money, everything together. The whole thing is involved.
And
so,
how did that benefit your business?
That benefited my business because the community, the people whom I help, they were more. They want to work with my company more. They want to really dedicate their time, and my staffs are so happy because in my company, my business. I felt when my staff, with some of the staff, if anybody die, his wife cannot live with the pension money. So my company thought that, to organize the family members, especially the women of those staffs, give them training on beautification, on designing, and tailoring, and different sectors, so that if the family cannot run, because in our country every family has minimum 4 children, more than 4 children, so it's very hard with the amount of money they run. So every year the turnover of my company is 1.4 billion, and then from that about 15% of the profit we contribute for this social work for different sector, especially for women empowerment. Because I'm a woman, so I give a lot of money for their contribution for the development for the women, for the capacity building. So in different sector. So this is about the women, and for children we have an orphan school where there are about 1,000 students studying. They are all orphans from very deep interiors. The school is in the very remote area in the village. So the maximum of them don't have father and mother, and some of them have only mother or father. So we give them free education with books. And also the other thing, protecting, another CSR is like protecting the environment is so important to, which is life of human being now, because we are suffering from pollution. So it's our noble duty to save the people from the pollution. So we are working very hard, and our company is very renowned for use of natural gas to stop that fume of the cars by petrol. So we were very successful in that sector. So we are really very happy that we have achieved. We have about 23 refueling stations all over Bangladesh, natural gas refueling and conversion workshops where about half of the women are female working there to convert the cars into CNG from the petrol. And at the same time, we have taken initiative from our group because in our country you can't hardly find any woman driving cars. So this is another sector, very challenging sector, because our women like to work in the garments factory. We are very popular that our workers, maximum workers are garments, working in the garment sector. So we try to diversify them and give them training on driving, because all mothers, they feel secure if you have a woman driver. So none of the women want to take this challenge, want to come in this profession, because they find it's for the man, this job is for the man. So we try to motivate, and first starting was with 30 women, very successfully we taught them driving and we gave them job. So that is our.
See, Manawara gives back in a really, really large
every year is increasing. Every 3 months we give them the training with license. We give them license. So every 3 months, it's increasing. Now in Bangladesh, very few housewives they drive car, but now also they are also getting more encouraged to drive car, to learn driving.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I have a comment over here. If it is 15% of your profits goes for the CSR, that's a very, very high percentage.
Yes, yes.
In our country, Government of India is trying very hard to make it a compulsory for 2.5% for the corporate to 2.5 only to make compulsory to give it for the CSR, but is unable to do it because there is a whole lot of oppositions from the corporates.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you if you thought that the monetary contribution alone allowed for long-term sustainability in terms of social responsibility?
No, I don't think a monetary contribution alone. You have really got to be involved yourself. And I can tell from listening to both Nuria and to Monowara that they really are involved, and it's something that they feel. That they don't feel that it is a task or something that's necessary, but they feel that it's something that's moral, something that should be done. So it's got to come from the heart.
Yes.
I hate to put it that way, but that's exactly right. Money is not everything.
Is this kind of deep giving more synonymous with women than men?
I think you should answer that.
I was saying that they are receiving what we are giving all the time, and then we are more accustomed to that. Having the potential to become mothers, our brains and our hearts are open to everyone, and we are always being able to see the needs of others. Sometimes the men, if they are not being educated by women to see it, they are not seeing it at all. So this is something that we have to take into account.
And Adela, do you think that it is successful businesswomen, and there are many of them in this room, do you think successful women should give back more than others?
They have more possibilities.
Yes.
They have much more possibilities. They take a great solution on their life and family normally, and they are more possibilities that open to the others, and they need to be open. They need to be for balance and this emotional.
Other than menteeship, who in the room gives back socially?
Yes.
Can you raise your hands? Can you swing that camera around? And there's a single hand in the room not raised. Thank you, Steve. Did we ever move on to TJ?
Thank you, Annie. My name is Tishan Ivar, and I come in from Washington, D.C. from the U.S. Department of State, and I work in the Bureau of African Affairs. And I wanted to share with you, both personally and professionally, some experiences I have regarding mentoring and corporate social responsibility and giving back. And I'll start with mentoring. I started working for a trade association in Washington, D.C. And I had the privilege of working with some experienced women, both in the government sector and the private sector. And they took me under their wing, and I learned from them. But I also took the initiative to reach out to them. So that's a key piece to this puzzle, which I'd like to relate to our mentees that are here as well. But don't feel shy about reaching out to those that you admire or that are successful, okay? Because they would welcome that. So I did that, and that's how I got into the government sector. I really admired some of the qualities that I saw when working with leaders such as Ambassador Davis and others. And that was what led me to the Economic Bureau at the State Department initially. And in the Economic Bureau, there's a program called the Corporate Social Responsibility Program. And they administer a program called the Secretary's Award for Corporate Excellence, where we recognize all throughout the world, through our embassies, U.S. companies that are giving back in other countries. So I'd like you to take a look at that, and I brought brochures as well. You can look on the website of the State Department to see some of your countries and what are being done in your countries through corporate social responsibility. And I'll drop the corporate for this panel. But one of the things that's very important to the State Department is that corporate citizenship benefits the business community as well as the global community, and that's why it's so important to give back. And we have created a team, a corporate social responsibility team at the State Department, and you all can reach out to them as well. And again, there's contact information. But they provide guidance and support for American companies that engage in socially responsible, forward-thinking companies and activities. And they also, which is very important, is they partner with the business community, trade associations, NGOs, and other members of civil society. And don't forget civil society, that's quite important, to encourage the adoption and implementation of corporate policies that help companies do well by doing good. Now, I'd like to just make a comment about mentoring. At the State Department, there's mentoring for employees, and there's also programs that we implement throughout the world. And I'll first speak about the personal. In the Foreign Service and in the Civil Service, which I belong to the Civil Service, there's a formal program, mentoring program, where an experienced civil service officer or Foreign Service officer would mentor those that are coming to the State Department. We have a formal program. We have an informal program because not everyone likes the structure. Some people need to be a little bit flexible, so we allow for that. And there's also situational mentoring. And I'm also currently a situational mentor. And I've posted my background on a website at the State Department, and I get occasional phone calls and emails requesting my guidance, and I'm happy to give back in that way. On the professional side, the State Department has they do a lot of work with women's empowerment programs. And one of them is the African Women's Entrepreneurship Program, which started about 2 years ago. And I'm really excited about all of these programs, so please let me know about my time, okay? I'm thrilled to be here and to share with you some of these successes. One is the African Women's Entrepreneurship Program, as I mentioned. We created this program. It was actually three of my colleagues in the cafeteria came up with this idea. Someone had the idea, someone knew how to implement it, and someone knew how to take it even further. Now the secretary has supported this program. So we're able to mentor African women entrepreneurs, and we bring over 40 women entrepreneurs a year to the United States. The same goes for other regions as well. There's another program called the Pathways to Prosperity, which reaches out to the Western Hemisphere. We also have other programs, the APEC, you may have heard, it's taking place right now, the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. All of these have mentoring components in the program. And I also like to just mention two more very quickly. And one is the U.S.-Pakistan Women's Empowerment Group. And that's something that I just learned about when I was researching this to speak to you today. And it's a program that the State Department implements to bring women from Pakistan for a mentoring program to the United States. And the last one, which you all might be interested in, is the Fortune State Department Global Women's Mentoring Program, which connects emerging women leaders from all over the world with Fortune 500 leaders. And this is something that I encourage you to apply for. And you can do that by going to fortune@state.gov. And if you need more information, I'm happy to help. But this will bring leaders to the United States to have mentoring experiences. And the last thing I'd like to mention about giving back is think about charities. Right now we're going through the end of the year, and we have something at the State Department called the Combined Federal Campaign. And federal employees are encouraged to give back. So I've chosen a couple of charities that are close to my heart to give back on a personal level. So with that, I'll hand this back over to Annie, but it's a pleasure, an absolute honor to be here, to be supportive of all of you, and I look forward to hearing more of your successes.
Annie, can I just ask Tijan a question? I think, Tijan, it would be helpful for those in the room to try to understand, why does the United States State Department support all these programs around the world? Why they're doing it in the United States, but why are they doing this around the world? What's the motivation? What's the theory? What's the mission?
That's a very good question. Thanks for asking that. Well, as we know that, women, you have to be able to support women entrepreneurs, and economically, you cannot have half of the country working. You have to tap into the power of women to be economic drivers. And so for the success, for the economic empowerment of other countries, the U.S. government is supportive of all women entrepreneurs in all countries. And as we can see, I mean, one of the things that I did want to mention was that the State Department is committed to advancing these opportunities for women entrepreneurs and leaders, and I will add, for youth entrepreneurs as well.
I'm going to move to the back of the room there. Margaret, do you think that policies should be built into businesses, into companies for regulating and self-monitoring to ensure active compliance?
Yeah, I think it's very, very necessary. We do not just rely on whatever that is being declared by some companies. But then, on social giving back, I would like to just say something on that. There are areas that we should always address our minds to. The fact that we are women, and we are mothers, and we really have to watch out for the children. I tell people that a child that is a criminal is our child, and we must watch out for them. And I will encourage all of us to visit our prisons, those of us from Africa especially, to go back to our prisons and see the condition the female inmates are being held, and see what happens to those of them who give birth in prisons, and we should do something about this for innocent children. Thank you.
What policies do you have in your own company to ensure this compliance, and what do you do to encourage your staff to follow these policies?
Well, we run a lot of educational programs. We train them. We also, as the leaders, we show a lot of love, show interest in their families, and try to offer scholarships to the children. And again, we try to encourage the act of mentoring. And they say charity begins at home. So we see our staff as an extended members of our families. We make their businesses our business.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Thank you for the opportunity. In our company, we give 5% of our profit to charity, aside from our own NGO, like we pick child prostitutes from the street and give them employable skills for free. And we have adopted correctional centers in all the prisons for young girls, and we have established small training centers across these prisons for the young ones. And you know what the beautiful thing is? People get into all kinds of vices when they don't know. And so once they are exposed, they come out of these correctional centers and they want to learn more. And they come with their parents, and we are very religious. We thank God for your life, and they shower all kinds of blessings on you. And for us, that is all we need. It's not about the money, but it's about the satisfaction that you are doing something, you are touching one life, one single life. And when she grows up and has baby, and she's living in a community, she will remember that it was someone who held her hand up there, and she will also replicate it.
Sandy Gwele is our mentee from South Africa. Maybe you'd like to respond to what Grace has just said about you being mentored, and what does that mean to you? Do you look up to these women? Is this something that you would like for yourself?
My voice is gone up. I also believe that giving back is not about money. I've been mentored by Ellie Bollington since 2009, and just having her being part of my life, that for me means a lot. And having her as my mentor, she's like my family. She's like my mother. Because in Cape Town I don't have a family, but she's part of my family.
And I'm quite hard to see like a mother.
And she's encouraging me. You know, when I don't know when I'm faced with challenges, I know that she's the person that I can talk to. Now this year I'm studying because of her. She has encouraged me to study. She has contributed to my studies in terms of motivating, encouraging me, but she has also contributed money towards my studies. So I definitely agree that the combination of the two is important, but money is really not the most important thing for giving back and for mentoring.
Before we get too deep into the mentoring, because I want to go into it in quite a bit of detail, I want to hand over to Mary, and she's going to tell us what she's doing socially and what her company is doing for employees and how they are giving back.
Thank you, Annie. My company is a brand development and marketing communications firm, and we have a company-wide passion and committed commitment to education. I personally felt about 9-10 years ago that if we don't make changes in our educational system here with children here in the United States, we're going to be in really big trouble. So about 8 years ago, I volunteered for Pencil, which is an organization that a nonprofit set up here in New York. It's an acronym that stands for Public Education Needs Civic Involvement for Learning. And what they do is they partner a business executive with a principal in a public school here in New York. And we support them, help them, educate them, do whatever we can in terms of our own personal skills that we bring to the party, and in terms of their needs. Most principals in the schools, they rise to that rank from being a teacher, so they really don't have any management skills, and they need help. So this is a terrific opportunity to go in there and give back. My first school I went to, I sat down with the principal and she said, I don't need any money, I don't need any computers, I need help in people knowing about my school. We're on the 5th floor of a walk-up. They had it was a middle school and there was a grade school below them, and she said that nobody knows that we're here, and so I'm ending up getting all the leftover kids. In New York City, children can choose where they want to go for middle school and high school. So she was ending up with a very mixed bag of wealthy kids from the neighborhood. It was the Greenwich Village Middle School, as well as kids who hadn't chosen the school as their #1 choice. They didn't get into their #1 or #2 choice, and so then they, ended up being grouped together there. So it made for a very complex grouping of children to teach that became difficult for the teacher, became difficult for the kids, and the school's overall grades were going down, therefore they would get less federal aid. So she didn't know it, but I said, well, you need branding and marketing support. So we came in and we gave them an identity. We did a lot of research and figuring out what were their differentiating qualities, of course, and gave them a new identity, gave them new brochures, a new website. I helped her with her messaging when she was giving school tours, and the results were so dramatic. The first year, 34% of the kids who applied chose it as their #1 choice. The number of school tours requested doubled. The community recognition suddenly was there. The second year, 89% of the kids who applied chose it as their #1 school. So she then, and then also she left, and a new principal came in, and usually there's always a drop-off of applications when a new principal comes on board because they don't really know what the school is going to stand for. It didn't. And also because so many kids after the second year had chosen it as their #1 school, it was a place they wanted to be. They were happy, they were learning, there was no drop-off in the summer. And the drop-off rate is something that's always unknown to principals. and very difficult to deal with because then they don't know how many kids to accept to fill in those places. So that was the first example of what we did there. And I continued consulting with the principal for several years after that. I now have a new charter school in the Bronx that I'm working with. They also have some branding issues. I've convinced my partner to also come on board and join Pencil. And of course, all this work is done pro bono.
How has it benefited your business?
This is very interesting in that my work with Pencil also led me to paid work with Virtual Enterprises International, which is a division of the Department of Education that goes into high schools, and actually they work in universities, in colleges as well. They set up virtual companies in the school, in the class. It's a year-long program. The teachers are specially trained, and the kids set up a company. They have human resources, they have pension plans, they have a global bank that they're part of. There are virtual enterprises all over the world. They have a trade show in the spring, and kids come from Hungary, from Austria, from just all over. It's an amazing, amazing program. So we were invited to do paid work for them. And then I turned that into pro bono work, and they have asked me to be on their advisory board, and I head up the marketing committee. But one of my kids made a comment when business was really bad. Mom, why are you doing all this free work? Why don't you get some paid work, you know? And first of all, I love giving back, and that's just my personality. And we always do one other nonprofit that we do pro bono per year, rebrand them. But the most interesting thing is that it has always brought in real business too. So it's a win-win situation. And then from Virtual Enterprises, we get mentees, and we also have a connection with universities in France, and I believe it's the UK, where we get university students who come over and spend 6 months with us, and we mentor them. And yes, it takes time to train them, and it takes effort to educate them, but we give back things as well. You know, they do great research and have been part of creating marketing plans, and it's really a win-win situation for everybody.
So do you believe a healthy and educated workforce contributes to society thriving, and at the same time business can be competitive? And that's clearly what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. Gabriela wants to make a comment.
I would like to talk about the experience we have in Lima, Peru. The three of us, we work at the Chamber of Commerce. We belong to the Social Commission, Corporate Social Commission, because by our own, each of us, we support what life gives us in terms of professional or business. But you can do so much by your own business, but you can do much more if you join efforts between among the companies, because one step here, one step there, and so you can create a commission among your companies or your fields. In this sense, in the Chamber of Commerce of Lima, for example, this year we support the special children special capabilities to go to the Special Olympics, and that was amazing for me. That has been one of the best experiences, and it was Marina's initiative, and she brought here a video. This has been 3 months ago. They went to Greece, and the Peruvian special children, he brought 5 gold medals, 7 silver medals. So in case somebody wants, we brought some copies. Thanks for your hats. And because these children, it was like they feel confident because they saw us it was not only a matter of money, but as Ambassador said, it was a matter of energy, timing, and Marina, she traveled with them to Greece, and she was a mother to them. Going with them, telling them, that was amazing. Well, because of the little English she mentioned, I want to translate because also she is like so modest in terms of not saying that she did a lot, and also working with children on, let's say, for instance, with hearing impaired, as she mentioned, having them working whenever you can have not only children but adults with special capabilities, they can do as much as normal adults can do, and we have to learn to be supportive to those persons that have not been lucky or having the opportunity to have all their senses. And once I'm going to retract myself, because once I mentioned to have been lucky, and one of these special persons told me, I don't feel unlucky. I received a lesson from him. I don't feel unlucky. In fact, I feel that I'm luckier than most of you, because even though of my limitations, I enjoy life so much that I hope I could live till 90 years old.
I'm going to hand over to Michelle Carola for her to tell us what she's doing in her business.
I'm extremely passionate about this topic, and I tend to talk about it. Anyone who knows that. So I decided to put a slideshow together, just because I think a picture says 1,000 words, and I'll just walk you through it. In South Africa, there are over 30,000 registered non-profit organizations, and that's registered non-profit organizations. And I'm a marketer by trade, but I believe I'm a humanitarian at heart, and I've learned how to be a politician where necessary. And I combined all three of those to wield what I believed would help make a difference. And I'm going to quickly, just go right to the beginning of this. So I left corporate and I started this company, and my dream is to connect and inspire women to thrive. And it's not anything to do with the Spice Girls. I know I like to dance a lot, but I can't sing. And it is also an acronym for spreading passion, inspiration, and connecting through edutainment for life. And I'm not punting the company. I want to explain to you that what Mary was saying about marketing is one of the biggest problems for a lot of the South African non-profits, because they are there because they need to feed the hungry children. But how are they going to get supported when there's so many of them? So what I did is brought women together into a network, and we turned it into an online magazine which addresses all the fun things of what it is to be a woman in the world in a fun, relevant format. But the crux of what we talk about is deeper than that. It's about what it means to be a woman in the world, to be a woman as a nurturer, as a mother, as a community caregiver, and the fact that the company now gets 2 million visits a month. The advertisers want to reach my audience, which means it funds me being able to give a platform to those who need a voice. The reality is that everybody has a mountain to climb, and in South Africa we have our very own iconic Table Mountain, which is just being included into the 7 wonders of the world. And I'm a bit of an out-of-the-box thinker. Like I said, I'm a marketer, and when you have a child who's in a very dark space, you can't always fix it. So I was hoping to inspire them, and came up with, we do multiple things outside of giving a voice to a lot of the nonprofits, but I believe engagement and walking the talk is important. And so we take children from trauma-based, very, very neglected areas, some of which have not ever even come out of their environment, and we climb Table Mountain together. And basically what it is that everyone has a mountain to climb, and holding hands, one step at a time, we can get to the top. And when they get to the top and they see the view, I've seen the inspiration that it gives them to truly want to learn how to choose their path in life. As far as mentorship goes, I have an international program where students from all over the world come and spend time with me, and we strategize on what it will take to get these nonprofits more visible and also give them the support that they may need. And these girls are committed. They're really taking the plunge. They're coming to an African country to make a difference. And here's one of the projects that we worked on, where these are all orphans, and they don't have anyone who's feeding them. And we used our power, persuasive feminine wiles, and went and found as much food as what we could from the markets, and then fed them. And this is another group of kids who love soccer, but don't have anyone to teach them the skill. They have natural inherent skill, but we decided we'd go and play with them anyway, and we do that on a regular basis. These interns learn about marketing, strategy, business, and I also make sure that we carry on building the stick of influence, because we need to maintain a huge audience. And so we engage with women on a regular basis, and mentorship is really about getting community together. These are all celebrities and personalities, to inspire women to continue making a difference. And talk about prisons, I think this was a defining moment for me. This is the high security prison in Cape Town. It's Polsmoor Prison. And they asked me to be a keynote speaker, and I didn't know what this white girl in her high heels was going to say to these girls that have been in dark spaces. Let me tell you, that day was phenomenal. And I think my power, my need to give is almost more self-satisfying nowadays than anything. I don't think I could live without it. And that used to their children up until the age of 2 years old. And then my girls leave and they go back to the country that they came from, and they were able to make a difference. And then of course, what being here in this space is my inspiration and my mentorship. So thank you for that. Hand over to Uka now. She's going to tell us what she does in her company. Master Morty, upstairs,
I think IWEC is a very sharp example of giving back to people, to women, and it's one of the nicest examples of social responsibility. And I do believe every award is, every woman in business, they do their best to give back to the society. And let me tell about myself and my examples. In 2010, when I first received an email about IWEC award, for me, it was very strange, and honestly, I didn't believe in that. I thought it's like something, hey, you know, win the $1 million and you please help me. So I thought something like that.
Fishing scheme.
And I didn't reply for, I think, many days. And then I received again, same email. And it was a midnight, and I replied very simply and shortly, and that asking, thank you for your email, and how much should I pay for this award? Now I feel ashamed for this question, but I ask it. In Mongolia, I think maybe in other countries too, you have to pay for many awards. It's like many people and many organizations do charge, money for awards, different type of awards. And I'm thinking, okay, so that award costs that much in Mongolia, means the international award should be cost more. Maybe I can't afford that for myself. And then Mukhtar said that Erica, you don't have to pay anything. You just, buy your tickets, come to Cape Town, and everything will be paid and organized by the hostess. And it was very nice, and I said okay, and I sent my application. But just in case, I put more money in my card, and thought maybe in Cape Town, I will be asked to pay something. I was ready for that, and it was so nice to receive from others, and it was my first experience to receive from others as a woman in business. And any award, the real award, is a real support, now I see. And IWEC award helped me, not only to me, to be confident myself and to be happy, but also it helped to my business and to my company in general. And I saw in Cape Town many outstanding women in business, much stronger, much richer, and more smarter than me, women. And it taught me a lot. And after coming back to home from Cape Town, I noticed that IWEC gave me homework. Always go forward and never give up, and always be at the international standard. Next, I saw in Cape Town how others take care of women in business. And I feel now it's nice and important, how it's nice and important. And also I did understand how I can take care of others, other women in business in Mongolia. And I immediately started my activities. And first of all, I opened SPPW Club, which is Business and Professional Women Club in Ulaanbaatar. There's the International Federation of Business and Professional Women based in New York. This organization has consultative status to the United Nations. And so I opened this club, and also I accepted I was asked many times to become a president of Women Entrepreneurs Council of Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. But I refused a couple of times because I said, it's nice thing, but I'm really busy and I can't, I don't have time and I can't, sorry. But after Cape Town, I couldn't say no, and I accepted that. And now I'm president. And so now I'm doing for women in business in Mongolia activities. I can leverage on 3 levels. One is for women at grassroots, and the next is for more advanced women in business and to help them to go out of Mongolia to act at international standard. And the third is to push more women at top level, decision maker level. And I organized special Mongolian National Women Solidarity Federation. There are about 40 NGOs and representatives of all political parties. Women are included into this federation. That's the first time in Mongolia we are trying to unify our forces and push more women into the top level. And today, today's awardee, Bodorma, I do believe that she is one of the next women candidates for the parliament. That's why I nominated her. And for the grassroots women, I organized 4 regional conferences for women in business and for rural women. It was the first time in Mongolia that women, we are gathering by ourselves and we are talking about our issues and trying to solve it. And there was about 250 to 300 women. And at first conference we didn't have any support from outside, but it has a tremendous results, and the information spread out through the country. And at the last conference, which was held 2 weeks ago, and we had a great support from the men's side and from the regional government. So it seems that the mentality of Mongolians that women in business is like a secondary class people, and now has been changing. And after IWEC, about for 1 year, I gave about 20 big interviews in the national newspapers and medias, which helped a lot to change the psychology of people. And so at the end, I want also to say something about IC. I was dedicated to get this scholarship, and I got it, and thank you for that. And I just wanted to say to you that never give up to study. And one of the smartest person in the world, I think, Mahatma Gandhi, and he said that live as if you will die tomorrow, but study as if you will live forever.
Very inspiring. Talking about taking care of women in business, we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes, but just as the IWEC family, what is it that we can do specifically for women in business? I do believe that social responsibility goes across the board in our businesses, but as successful businesswomen, we have a platform, and as IWEC, I believe as an organization, we have a platform. I mean, women in business account for 38% of business worldwide today, and I have a lot of things that I'd like to say, but we are on a very tight leash in terms of time, but I see him standing there, and we've been cut half an hour short because this is a topic that I really wanted to get into. But as IWEC awardees, past awardees, and associates, you've already jumped the hurdles, and you can assist a mentee to really cut to the chase and move through some of the issues that you yourself have dealt with. I think that really, as women in business and entrepreneurs, we know this. And I think it's the essence of who we are. I mean, we are, in a sense, business gurus. Would you agree with that? Business veterans. And young women in business, I believe, is something that we should open a discussion and a dialogue, and we're probably not going to get to it today. But we viscerally know what it feels like to be in the shoes of somebody that's starting a business. And the question is, who in the room has a mentee? Who in the room has been mentored? Can I go into that thing that you said, Anna?
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, should we in time, and possibly not next year, but in years to come, change the IWEC entry criteria for future awardees that they need to be involved in some form of woman menteeship?
Yes.
We should do that. I'm terribly sorry to do this, but we've been keeping our speaker waiting for half an hour. So I think we can, she's only going to talk for about half an hour, so we can continue this dialogue after she leaves at the luncheon. But I know there's something that you want to do that's special.
Hold that thought.
Hold that thought.
But I don't expect any of you to ever remember that. And Nons has been in business a couple of years, and she has taken on the big chain brand Godiva, in that she manufactures her own handmade chocolates and truffles, and this is the packaging. Wow. I'm with us from South Africa to rub shoulders with you who have made it and walked through those hoops to get where you are today, and she is here to feel, learn, and take on board as much as what you can give. And what she has done is she brought a few of these boxes of chocolates along. This is a middle-sized box, and they're selling for $15. This is a true entrepreneur. She arrived with no clothes but a suitcase full of chocolate. The bigger box is slightly, it's got how many chocolates in it? 24 chocolates in, that's $25, and then there's a small little box of $5. And Nance is hoping that we're going to support her. So if you would like to do that, please pop in and see her at lunch. She's got a whole bag of lovely goodies. I see money, I see money, I see money. And we're very proud to have her, and we hope that in time, in the next half day and tomorrow, you'll get to spend a few minutes with her. Thank you very much.
www.manhattan CCTV.